Welcome back to round number 6 of my Caterham career mode on F1 25 My Team. I did that in completely the wrong order, but I'm just going to go with it. Last time out we had Caterham's best day in Formula 1 ever. We scored points for the team. I say we because it kind of was a team effort, but at the same time I did bottle even more points for the team. So this time out we'll be heading to Miami, a track that I am not particularly good at, and to be honest, going into this, it's a sprint weekend, so I'm even less optimistic of continuing this form with Caterham. Oh, and also it's raining in sprint qualifying and the main race. Yeah, I've got a feeling Caterham will be crashing back down to reality after the highs of last race. All things considered, the weather wasn't actually too bad in sprint qualifying. It started out in intermediate conditions and it was drying up at the very end of SQ1. So we go out late into SQ1, try and get the best conditions we possibly can. I still wasn't very optimistic. I'd put a time in, I was comfortably last place. Even Dirksen was beating me, but maybe with a drying track we could benefit from it. Obviously everyone was already out on track. I was going to be the first to put a lap time in, so already the plan was going to shit. But overall it did feel like a fairly clean lap considering it was wet conditions, and I'm famously terrible in wet conditions, especially with this car. Despite being a boat, it's still incredibly shit in wet conditions, but up to the line we go for our final lap in SQ1. And forget everything I said, the boat reigns supreme in the wet. We go P11 into Q2. Honestly, I hope the rain continues. Going into SQ2, I'll be honest, I was feeling pretty good about myself, so I decided to go sweaty. I decided to sit in my garage, wait for the dry tyres to come out, because on this game it takes about 50 years for the track to dry up and for dry tyres to actually be good, despite what the Delta says in the game. So I just had a nice dry SQ2, sat in the garage watching the cars go round and flicking through the drivers until I saw dry tyres on one of the cars. Thank you very much, Antonelli. So we went out late in SQ1 and it paid off. We've gone out late in SQ2. Let's see if we can make it pay off for a second time. Especially on the medium tyres, I'll be honest, I wasn't too confident I could make this work, but it seemed throughout the entire race weekend, through the middle sector at least, this car, or maybe just the AI being slow, but this car was quick in the middle sector, especially through the chicane. Again, only in comparison to the AI. The AI was shockingly bad through that chicane throughout the entire race weekend, and we show it by going purple in the middle sector. And when I saw that, I thought, I'm going to top the session. Just seeing one purple sector, and already my ego was through the roof as I came into the final braking zone. Are we going to get through to SQ3? We had a shocking sprint qualifying in China. Can we get a better one in Miami? Fuck.
Well, that concludes sprint qualifying. So much action still to come this weekend.
Oh, fuck you. Something I didn't realise in SQ1. Dirksen got through to SQ2 as well and qualifies P13, which honestly, he's last of the dry runners and quite a bit off me, but that's respectable. I can't really talk shit about him, he's the only point scorer in this team. But also, because of the changing conditions, we've just had qualified Max Verstappen. I look forward to him absolutely abusing me in the sprint race, but for now, we've beaten a 4-time world champion. It's at this point that I'd usually go onto Google to see if Caterham beat Sebastian Vettel in 2014, but having driven that car, I'll be honest, I don't feel the need to look. So P11 in qualifying and a decent position. We can see points up ahead. Can we go get them in the Miami sprint? Let's find out. Lights out and away we go. It's been a pretty decent start. Not compared to the Alpine, but at least compared to Lawson. I'm going to go around this outside into turn number 1. We've got plenty of space to brake around the outside of Doohan. We're going to be side by side of Sainz and Behrman 3 wide through turn number 2, and somehow we've survived it without damage and we've gone straight up into P7. Behind Antonelli, we're still side by side of Behrman. He outbrakes us and is trying to go around the outside through this horrible, horrible S section, which this car absolutely hated. Obviously because it's got no downforce, but also coming onto this straight, it's also got no power. And we're going to find that out right now as we're in a drag race between myself and Behrman. We're using ERS, we've got no DRS, we've got no slipstream. It seems with ERS we're able to stay ahead of the Haas. We're going to be side by side down towards turn number 11. He's got the outside line. Surely we're going to be able to hold this position with the inside line, and yes, we get ahead of him into the horrible sector that the AI absolutely hate, and you'll see that as I close right up onto the back of Antonelli through the chicane. and down the back straight we're going to be running slipstream of Antonelli. At least we should, but the car is so bad down the straight that slipstream was completely worthless to me, and we're going to be under pressure from Bearman again, this time into the final braking zone of the lap. He gets ahead of us, we're going to outbrake him and go up the inside. I would say hugging the apex, but more going over the apex, but more importantly getting ahead of Bearman as we get another slide out of the final traction zone. Side by side of Bearman as we cross the line. Myself and Ollie have had a very eventful first lap, but as we go into the braking zone of turn number 1, he's on the inside and we're able to carry the speed around his outside. Hopefully lap 2 is a little more relaxed. Hopefully we can just settle into this P7 now. We did end up having at least one relaxed lap on lap number 2, but lap number 3 we are right under pressure again from Bearman down towards turn number 11. But with the help of ERS we were able to just stay ahead of him. He wasn't able to challenge us into the braking zone. And through this section, as I've explained, I was actually able to pull ahead of Bearman. Not to any extent that it was really helping me. He was still catching me immediately down this back straight. But you can see, out of the traction zone, we opened the gap up to 0.8 of a second. He's still going to catch me with DRS, but using my ERS down the sector 2 straight and being ahead at turn number 11, it was doing enough that I could comfortably hold on to this P7. And this was really the pattern that stuck with me the entire race. By lap number 5, I'm still in P7, still with Bearman behind me, and also Sainz, which is a bit concerning given the speed of the Mercedes powered engines. Much like the exit of Sector 1 in Saudi Arabia, the AI really liked to go for a move in the first sector. Fair enough to Bearman for not making contact with me, but he's lost out to Carlos Sainz, which is not good for me at all as we come on to the Sector 2 straight. You can see this car is just... I just had to drag it around, or apparently my track map is saying turn 8, but whatever turn it was a horrible turn and I absolutely despised it. We're now being attacked by Carlos Sainz. We're going to do exactly what we did to Ollie Bearman. Use the ERS and make sure we are ahead into the braking zone of turn number 11. We're going to be side by side on this occasion. We're going to have to be a bit aggressive to hold on to this position this time. We're going to run a little bit deep, but we stay on track. Luckily don't get a penalty, and we are once again ahead of the Williams and the Haas, and they are battling into the worst corner possible, so that's going to help us out massively. We're going to open the gap up to over 1.5 seconds. But on lap number 6, drama unfolds as we come on to the second sector straight. Or apparently it's not a straight, but anyway, we've got yellow flags ahead as Oscar Piastri, his bad season continues. He's got an engine failure or some kind of mechanical failure in the sprint, and we're going to go up into P6, the dizzying heights of P6 in the Miami sprint, which means if we can hold on to this position and bag the 3 points for the team, we will once again be the lead driver at Caterham. Things continue to go well until lap number 9 when I saw Verstappen go into P8, which was absolutely terrifying. We still had Bearman between us and he was once again going for a move into the first sector. It's a stupid move, and again we've somehow survived it. We're going to be side by side, but luckily he backs out of it. It's not going to help me whatsoever though, because he's now going to be under pressure from Verstappen. So for the last lap of the sprint, we're going to have to fend off a 4-time world champion, assuming he can get past Bearman, but hopefully with DRS, Bearman can just stay with me, not overtake me. Don't do anything stupid, Ollie, but just stay with me. I can tow you along. You can get P7, I'll take P6. Verstappen will hopefully not get involved, and everyone's happy. Except obviously Verstappen, he's probably absolutely livid right now. We are going to be leading onto the final lap of the race. Bearman is still P7, so far things are going perfectly according to plan. Mark says to bring it home, and that's exactly what I want to do. I don't want to do anything stupid. I don't want to pick up any kind of penalties. I'm pretty sure I haven't got one warning so far, so unless some bullshit happens, we should be holding on to this P6. Bearman is not going to try it into turn number 4 on this occasion, thank God. Hopefully that means he will stay within my DRS, stay directly behind me, allow me to tow him along, and Verstappen can wallow in P8, the depths of P8, pick up one measly point for Red Bull, completely ruin his title chances already, but we've got to hold on to P6 first, and Bearman is once again trying to challenge us down towards turn number 11. We're going to use all our ERS and then save it through the third sector. He's going to go to the inside this time, we're going to outbrake him, stay ahead, and once again we've fended off the Haas. The only issue is Verstappen is looking to get by the Haas, but thankfully Bearman fights it, and they're going to be side by side through the chicane. We're going to open the gap up to Verstappen to 0.7 of a second as we come onto the straight. Use all our ERS we've got. Surely that's going to be enough. And you cannot believe the joy I felt when I saw that this Red Bull is not very good in a straight line. We're going to be ahead of Verstappen, well ahead of Verstappen into the final braking zone. And for the first time this season, Zagazzetta is going to score points for Caterham. We are the lead Caterham driver once again, 3 points with a P6 in the Miami Sprint. No penalties for once, no stupid spins, and excluding the Piastri retirement, it was all on merit. I can only assume they didn't have the Zagazzetta Driver of the Day graphic, which is completely reasonable actually. He's driven horrendously this season. So we're going to end the Miami Sprint on top of the world with so much confidence. So much more confidence than I had at the start of this race weekend. Can we continue this form into the main race? Is this really the turning point for Caterham F1 team?
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
Now it's very easy to attack me, obviously, for getting P19. It's a horrendous result. Much further down the grid than I was hoping for or expecting after the brilliant sprint race. However, I think the attention needs to be drawn to Joshua Dirksen, who is a second off the pace of every single other driver.
F1 seems to be growing by the day in the USA, and today's race is a testament to that. It's time for the Miami Grand Prix. Well, it's an excellent sprint yesterday, but we're back to the usual format now. How do they continue what they started?
Absolutely. You know, they're at one with their car. You could see that in the sprint. That's why they were successful there. And you've got to carry that through into this race today. And in a way, we've had a snapshot as well of what this driver's capable of.
You hear that? I'm capable. That's the first time someone said that about me this season. Much like in sprint qualifying, the weather could have definitely been worse. We're going to be starting in the intermediate conditions and it's going to get drier as the race goes on. Pretty much a carbon copy of sprint qualifying actually, and all things considered, that worked for us. So obviously we're starting further down the grid, but maybe we can get another strong result in the main race. So we got a good start in the dry, but can we do it in the wet conditions? It's a bigger ask, I know. But let's find out. Lights out, and away we go. Do you know what? There's a little bit of wheel spin, but overall it's a pretty good start compared to AI. We're going to go between the two RBs into turn number 1. We don't really have a place to go around the outside of Hadjar as Bearman's up ahead of us. Doohan, Bearman and Hadjar are going to be 3 wide through turn number 2. We're going to muscle our way past Hadjar, somehow get past Doohan as well, kick the back end out on the exit of turn number 2, and for a second time through turn number 3. But we go up into P15 directly behind Bearman. I'm sure he's going to be great fun after the sprint qualifying, and we're going to be having a horrible time through turn number 6 as the car in the dry hated this sector, and in the wet even more so. We're waiting to put the power down at turn number 6 or 7 or 8 or whichever one it was, and because of that we're going to be immediately under pressure from Hadjar down the straight. ERS to help us a little bit. It looks like we've done just enough to stay ahead of him, but we're going to be overly cautious on the brakes into turn number 11. Hadjar's going to look to the inside but doesn't go for it. We still managed to outbrake ourselves, running off track, somehow don't get a track extension for it, but thanks to the AI once again being terrible through this sector, we're able to close right up onto the back of Bearman. Sainz and Gasly going side by side through the chicane. Things are going well. We've caught onto the back of the pack, we've moved up to P15. I'm having a very stressful time in wet conditions under traction, but the race is going pretty well, I think. There was some squabbling into the final braking zone between Gasly, Bearman and Sainz. It ends up being Gasly ahead with Bearman second. Sainz falling down to P14, but we're going to end lap number 1. I was going to say about making a mistake, but literally at the final corner, we're going to kick the back end out. Hadjar's going to get back past us. We're going to be side by side of Doohan into turn number 1. Around the outside, we should be able to hold him to this position, assuming we get the better traction, which is, it's a big ask, but we've managed to do it. drifting the back end out through turn number 2 once again, but we're going to hold off Doohan for P16. Given how that opening lap could have gone, I was more than happy with that result. Thanks to Doohan obviously having a Renault powered car, we were able to stay ahead of Doohan, and while we didn't have much pace to stay with the cars ahead, we were doing enough to hold on to P16. Not very exciting, I know, but you got to take what you can get. I'm pretty sure this would be the highest result I've finished in an actual Grand Prix this entire season, assuming I don't lose the back end at any point through turn number 2. Doohan's going to get past me into turn number 4. I hate the corner numbers through this section because they kind of just all blend into one. I see it as a horrible section, not individual corners. But we've lost out to Doohan in turn number 8. And it looks like we're going to lose the position to Bortoleto as well. It's going to be a drag race down towards turn number 11, but we are saved by about the length of a front wing, holding off Bortoleto as a red flag has come out and absolutely saved us. Saved our P70. It's not much, but we were saved nonetheless. We were losing that position. So who was this cause of this red flag? Was it Tsunoda again for a second race running? Was it Lance Stroll because he's Lance Stroll? Was it one of the rookies due to inexperience and wet conditions? Oh, for fuck's sake. Even in game he doesn't help himself, does he? Lando's in P2, chasing down Verstappen for the win. Oh, for fuck's sake. Championship leader, by the way. Okay, that's completely on Tsunoda there. He just drove directly into him. Whilst it is annoying to see Lando coded correctly in this game, it did massively help us out, as on the restart, it's going to be dry conditions. So for the third time, this video is 5 lights and lights out, and away we go, this time in dry conditions. We're the only person by the looks of it on medium tyres. I'm going to try and go for a 1-stop from this point onwards. It's been a brilliant start. Straight back up into P15, looking around the outside of Hulkenberg. Side by side. Oh, for fuck's sake. We've got a little bit of damage, it's fine. I was suspecting more. There's more. It's, this started out so promisingly. Oh, God. Okay, I might have to go through this again because a lot happened there and I was too busy wallowing in my own self-pity. So we get side by side of Nico. He hits me, it's fine, there's a little bit of contact. We get past the Sauber. We then run wide at turn number 2 and lose the back end and hit the wall. Completely my own fault. Every single fucker drives past me, apart from Ollie Behrman and Doohan somehow. Mark is speaking over himself. And then coming through this horrible section, we cut the corner. There's damage from, I think, Lance Stroll. What was looking like a turning point in this race has turned into an absolute clusterfuck, and we are heavily out of running for the points. So we're on the wrong tyres, we've lost a lot of positions, we've got front wing damage, we need to make a pit stop, we're losing a position to Behrman. What is a man to do other than pray for another red flag? Thank you very much. There's no fucking way, that's got to be Oscar. Please let it be Oscar, please let it be Oscar, please let it be Oscar.
It's Friday then!
Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, thank you very much, Lando. Once again, you've helped me out massively. But for the love of God, you're fighting for the championship. Stop being realistic. I'll be honest, I can't be asked to commentate another start. We're on the hard tyres. Are we going to the end? I don't know. I guess we're anticipating another fucking red flag at some point, courtesy of Lando. It's been a fine start. We're up into 19th, we gain a position. Dirkson's up in the 20th, battling Doohan behind me. Let's see if Lando crashes at turn number 11 again. I can only assume he'll spin if I need him to, so if we can keep it clean. How the hell is that not a track extension? I don't know, but we're just going to keep our mouth shut and keep driving. I genuinely have no idea how Piastri's all the way down in 16th. He must have had a horror show of a race, even worse than Lando, who I think is still in P2. We're going to be under pressure from Doohan down towards turn number 11, but let's just wait and see if we can actually get through turn 11, or has Lando spun again. We've got no yellow flags. I think we're good on this occasion. Finally, we can drive this section of the track. It's been so long. It's genuinely been so long. I've missed this part of the track because it's the only part of the track that I'm actually quicker than everyone else. As you can see by the fact that I almost have to stop behind Lance Stroll as we go through the chicane. Coming onto the back straight, I've still got no hope in a straight line, so my only hope at this point was praying that the AI were going to be on a 2-stop given they were on the medium tyres. I don't think I'd be able to take these tyres to the end. 20 laps, especially with how I seem to cope with... Oh, fuck me. I forgot about that, but we're up in the P18, courtesy of Lance Stroll. Jesus Christ, that was so out of nowhere, even I forgot that happened. But as I was saying, I was pretty sure at this point, I was banking on a 1-stop. I'm pretty sure I wasn't going to take these tyres to the end because I'm famously terrible at conserving my tyres. We get scared into a track extension thanks to Lance Stroll. Honestly, given the move I made on him at the chicane, I can't even judge him for that kind of move. That was completely fair. But it does mean we're going to be under pressure from the Aston Martin down towards turn number 11 once again. We're keeping to the same strategy we did in the sprint, using a bit of ERS, staying ahead into turn number 11, and then we could open the gap up just a little bit through the horrible section that everyone hates. Stroll is going to be on the inside at turn number 11, but with the way the track works and the inside line for the following corner, we're able to hold on to the position. We're going to be catching Bortoleto and Lawson as they are battling into the chicane. But at this point we were very much in the same rhythm we were in the sprint. Not a lot was happening, and I didn't have the pace to really go anywhere. I mean, I'm not surprised. I can't be, I was there. I don't even feel anger anymore. I'm numb to it. We're never going to finish a race without a penalty. I also wasn't too mad because it wasn't exactly looking good for points, was it? We're P18. So we've landed ourselves with a 3-second penalty, and just to add a cherry on top to the shit that we've dealt with on lap number 12, Lance Stroll has overtaken me. I'll be honest, I'm more annoyed at that than I am about the penalty. At this point in the race, all I wanted to do was beat Dirksen. There's no fucking way. If this is Norris again, I swear to God, if this is Norris again, thank God it's Hamilton blowing up. It's a Ferrari doing Ferrari things. Thank God it is not Norris. I don't think I could have defended a third spin at the same corner. But thanks to Ferrari being Ferrari, we go back up into P18. It means nothing. I feel nothing. The only thing that realistically is going to help me right now is a timely safety car, so if McLaren could get on the radio to Lando, that would be fantastic. Heading down towards turn number 17, it doesn't look like Hamilton is causing a safety car. However, we've got a yellow flag in the final corner.
Okay, the safety car is out.
Thank you very much. I'm going to assume that was Norris. Thank you, Norris, for once again helping me out. You have been a phenomenal teammate this race. We're going to put into the pit at the perfect time. We're going to put on a set of the medium tyres. Hopefully everyone puts on the hard tyres. We'll have a tyre advantage. For the love of fucking God. Also, it wasn't Norris. It was actually Leclerc and Ferrari having one of the worst laps in Formula 1 history. Both cars having, I presume, the same issue. Caterham may be having a shocking feature race in Miami. However, one positive we can take from this race, the Tofosi's gonna be fucking crying. Also, thanks to my pit crew being fucking idiots in the pit stops, we're gonna gain absolutely nothing thanks to that tiny safety car. It looks promising as we come through turn number 1, but yeah, Bevan gets that ahead of us, and we're gonna stay P18. We do have a tyre advantage, at least over everyone else but Doohan, who has for some reason gone for the soft tyres, but it does seem we have failed to capitalise on the safety car. It's still going to be a rough one. As always, when we get a 3-second time penalty, we're going to act like it's not there. We're still going to try and do the best we possibly can, even though at this point the ego had gone. I was not hopeful for the rest of this Miami Grand Prix, but we're going to be at a snail's pace through turn number 17, and for some reason my car just didn't want to really accelerate through the corner, so it's been one of the worst safety car restarts I've ever done. We are already a second behind Behrman, who I'm sure will just pull away rather easily. We've gone deep into turn number 1. We're under pressure from Doohan. It's just getting embarrassing at this stage. Nothing seems to be going right. The only thing I can be certain about right now, we're getting last place. I am so confident about that. I'm about 80% confident that Norris is going to spin again. So we do have that to look forward to. We could make something out of that if he causes another red flag. But the downward spiral in Miami is in full force right now. The high is a distant memory for us. We have Behrman and Stroll going side by side somehow through the chicane, but still, because there's just nowhere to go, I can't really take advantage of that. And again, we just don't have the straight line speed. It's as simple as that. It's been the story all season long so far. Mark is telling me to make another stop, like that's going to fucking help me. And down towards turn number 17, the annoyance got the best of me as I go for another optimistic send on Stroll. He leaves the door open and we do actually get the move on the Aston Martin. We're going to be side by side for the final corner. He does pull out of it, thank God. And you know what? Maybe things are looking up. We go up to P15 thanks to pit stops. If the AI make pit stops, we might be able to get something from this race. I still wasn't too hopeful. Through turn 9 and through turn 10, Stroll has DRS on me and obviously is the quicker car. I'm not going to say quicker driver because that's just insulting to myself. We're going to be side by side of the Aston Martin down towards turn number 11. And just to add to the horror that is this race, we run wide under braking and coming back on track. We make contact with Bortoletto, gives us a little bit of damage, but it'll be absolutely fine unless I try and go on the outside at the chicane and put myself on the wall and break my wing. But obviously, I'm not stupid enough to do that. Now, the worst part about that incident was the fact that as I was coming into the pit to obviously fix my wing, a lot of other people were coming into the pit. So had I just kept it clean, I would have actually made up quite a few positions. I don't want to talk about it. So for the rest of my race, my goal and only goal was to beat Dirksen once again. This time I'm going to have to overtake him and pull a 3-second gap. He's also battling with Doohan, who obviously made a second pit stop because he was on the soft tyres. So maybe I can get Doohan as well. Could we get P18? It would be the most undeserved P18 I think I've ever gotten. But to be honest, at this stage I was really fighting for scraps of not only on track but just something to make this race interesting to me. I had well and truly checked out by this stage. One small positive, at least, for the first time in this race, we're catching someone thanks to DRS. It was exactly the same car as me, and I'm pretty sure with a slightly weaker engine, with fewer upgrades, but still we weren't able to make the move on Dirksen. Until we go into turn number 1, we're going to go to the insides and brake late. We managed to hold on to the position because Dirksen is shit. This is really difficult to make a sight in. It really wasn't. We're just trying to get to the end now. First off, we've got to get past Doohan. As you can see, he's once again slow through the chicane. Surely, with no slipstream and no DRS on anyone, we can overtake the Renault-powered Alpine. How is he pulling away? Why am I catching so slow? I have so many questions about his engine. I absolutely despise it. Why did I go for realism and pick the Renault engine? Why did I make this so difficult on myself? We've got the move on Doohan. We've now got 4 laps, 5 laps, a set number of laps to try and open up this gap. Spoiler alert, we're not beating Doohan. I don't care. We're not beating Doohan. Jumping to the end of the race, thank God. We're going to finish 2.6 seconds ahead of Dirksen. We're not going to beat him. It was for P19. I wasn't really too invested in it, I'll be honest. We finished P20. The highs were in the sprint in Miami. The lows were very much in the Grand Prix. But we've got 3 points to take away from this Grand Prix. Honestly, thank God we had a good sprint. Thank God. Max Verstappen wins the Miami Grand Prix ahead of somehow Yuki Tsunoda, but more shockingly, Lando Norris with the most undeserved podium I think I've ever seen. One awful showing from Lando Norris, but hey, it's a championship leader, I guess it's realistic. In terms of Caterham as a team, it was not a good result at all because Gasly gets some good points for Alpine, Hülkenberg gets some good points for Sauber, And Sainz gets some good points for Williams. In the Drivers' Championship, somehow Norris has a 38-point lead over Max Verstappen. I don't know how he's managed that either. Zagazzetta moves up into P15, thanks to his 3 points in the sprint, ahead of Dirksen and ahead of Lance Stroll. You love to see it. But it's not been a good day for us in the Constructors, despite getting our best result of the season. We get jumped by Kick Sauber. We do move ahead of Racing Bulls thanks to those 3 points. Looking at these points tallies, I don't really know why I was thinking Alpine, Aston Martin and Williams were in the same fight as me. And despite getting our best result of the season, no one seems to care. They still hate us. We're Caterham F1 team. What do you want from us?